Burning green or burning house?
I can't figure out how to find a bunch of dams. There's no streaming.
It's streaming now.
Roxbury Dams, right? Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Rex Dams.
I just watched the movie
Right?
Yeah. I just sent you the
Send her a
link.
link.
I sent it to you.
Blue Money. Really killed. Really killed. 85 days or so. Right after me. Sweet.
Nah, I sent it to her too.
I was there. Great. I saw it. Everybody remembers the thing. Right? I was going to stay in if I would send me to Germany. I've never been to Europe, but I still it was we're going to send me to Kuwait.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Katie, can you please read the open public meeting statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury is given as required by the Open Public Meeting 31st, 2025. Notice was emailed and faxed to the Daily Record, the North Star Ledger, the West March Reporter, and published in the Daily Record. Notice shall also remain posted throughout the year on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Here.
Councilman Carey.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Here.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Here.
Councilman Hall.
Here.
Councilman Riley.
Here.
Mayor Patillo.
Here. Before we get into the agenda, I'll have an opening statement. Last week, Roxbury Township was informed through court documents that the Department of Homeland Security has advised the court that it once again intends to move forward with the plans to consider the retrofitting of the warehouse and has removed the property from the federal government's excess property list. From the very beginning, our position has been clear and consistent. We will continue to use every legal, legislative, and political tool available to protect the people, property, and resources of Roxbury Township. This latest development does not change our position or alter our course. Our case remains active, and we will continue pursuing every available legal remedy on behalf of the community. Roxbury Township is extremely disappointed by this reversal. and our residents have demonstrated remarkable patience and resilience throughout this process. No one on this dais knows why DHS reconsidered its previous position, but we are confident that this decision was not the result of any action, request, comment, or change in position from Roxbury Township. As we've consistently said, nothing is final until the legal process has run its course. We will continue moving forward with the goal of preventing this facility from being built in Roxbury Township while protecting our people, property, and resources. Our commitment has not changed. We will continue acting in the best interest of our residents and working tirelessly towards the successful outcome of our community. Moving on the agenda. Item 4, presentations of board, etc. There are none. Item 5, approval of minutes, June 23rd, 2026.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Aldar.
Yes.
Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. This brings us to our first public portion. Does anyone in the public wish to be heard on township business? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address. 3 minutes, 1 appearance per person, please.
Suzanne Oliver, 21 King Road, Mandy. I'd like to ask the mayor to clarify his comments and provide some answers on township business around a recent quote within the TAP of the Roxbury article, Power Slowly Returns to Roxbury, Officials Bristle at Government, published on July 6th. The mayor pointed out that Roxbury lost $1.8 million in tax revenue due to the federal government's purchase of warehouse for use as an immigrant processing facility with the quote, "The additional expense incurred in responding to and recovering from this weekend storm have only compounded the fiscal challenge ahead of us." You agree? I'm asking a couple questions. Will blaming the warehouse sale be the de facto response for future fiscal challenges?
The point of the quote
No,
was
that's
to
exactly-
ask
that's the question.
JCP&L and our
Well,
state government to
that's the
support us
question.
because we have been already impacted.
Okay, we can move on. More specifically, will the mayor routinely cite the council's $8.1 million blunder as the reason for fiscal challenges ahead of us? Again, not gonna answer it here. Here's a real question. When can the town expect to see a full fiscal mitigation strategy and plan that will clearly explain the residents' tax implications, cross-reference with loss of or limitations to township services, as well as town's plans for asset recovery and mitigation?
Not speak on the litigation.
No, mitigation.
Well, we already have a plan in place that we've been working through in our previous budget, that's why there was an increase in taxes.
Okay, when will we see a comprehensive plan? So, in other words, beyond our standard tax bills and budget presentations, when will the township provide documentation showing the exact cost of this $8.2 million to whatever it is, tax loss, along with specific timelines for rate increases?
Well, when the suit's
There's more.
complete,
When can we see an itemized list of all town services that will negatively be impacted? When can we see a list of potential revenue sources that the town is considering to offset these fiscal and services losses? Meaning, besides raising taxes and cutting services, potentially cutting services, what is the town council going to do to bring in revenue to cover this loss? As a taxpayer of Roxbury, I am formally requesting the above-mentioned items be presented in a formalized presentation, not bits and pieces, during a future town council meeting and then shared on the town website. When can we expect a full report?
when the litigation is over.
Okay. One more question. Now that your GOP colleague, Tom Kane, is back at work, will you represent Roxbury's interests and lobby for him in DC to help get his local Taxpayer Protection Act of 2026 passed? Meaning, will you show up and do the work and lobby for this bill to be passed?
I have no comment.
That means no. Thanks.
Bonnie Rosenthal Randolph. It's just a question, and it may be a question for Chief Michael.
when you say locals?
Meaning when that happened, let's just say the shooting of the tires that happened in Landing, is Roxbury police involved at all in the investigation of that, or because it was ICE, is it only ICE? And if God forbid there is the shooting of a person here, because why should Roxbury or Randolph be any different?
Morris County Sheriff's Department.
Okay, so Roxbury not at all.
We were
Okay.
not,
Thank you.
at the last one, we were not included in that investigation.
Thank you for answering.
Wait.
Hi, Victoria Roxbury. I just had a quick question. In the light of, is that?
Just press the button one time.
Is that better? Is that better?
I think so. Right? No? I'm not. Rob? Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Of course. I'll just speak loud.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Good job.
This is also in the realm of just asking a question. Considering the kind of misinformation that's been flying around about elections and so forth, as we move towards an election season, I was wondering that since all of us have participated and voted at local Roxbury sites, so we almost have an opinion about how we feel for the security of the elections and how well they're managed here in the town. Is the town having any plans about making a statement about confidence in voting and the polling stations here in Roxbury? Or at the very least, posting more information that gives people a direction where to go to validate whether or not they should feel comfortable with mail-in voting or in-person voting here in Roxbury. Is there any thoughts given to that, or will there be?
No, we're not gonna weigh in on federal government election.
It's a state. It's a
State
local.
level.
It's a local government. It's a local election. It's managed by local people. And,
No, the answer is no, we're not gonna.
okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Clusker.
Robert Kluskheim's Road, brings us back to township business. I'd like to address that little accident we had on Pleasantville Road and Eland Avenue. I'm not sure how severe it was, but it was a pretty big one from what I hear. And already I hear some more talk about installing a traffic light, which you've discussed about that previously. I'm against it myself. I travel through that crossroads at least 4 or 5 times a week. I guarantee I'll never have an accident there because I'm cautious. Why there are accidents, I don't know. So I suggest possibly making a speed trap there. And if that doesn't work, possibly building a, what do you call the berms? Speed bumps, possibly put a speed bump at the corner, force them to slow down or stop. But keep in mind, we do not need another traffic light in Roxbury on Eland Avenue.
Mr. Clusker, currently that crossroad there, Uniberg to Pleasantville, has rumble strips already in place.
Yes, we do, yeah.
It has stop ahead signs, it has flashing stop signs. But those mitigations are already put in place.
We do everything you should do, but people still ignore them. A rumble strip doesn't do that much good. A stop sign is only something you blow through, so you need something that'll make them stop. And if it's not a police officer handing out tickets, then maybe it's a speed bump or something. But in any case, keep in mind there's those of us that are anti-traffic lights.
Thank you, Mr. Cluster. Seeing no one else in public, close public. Reports of council liaison representatives, council committee, new and old business. I wanted to start off with, I'm sure everyone is well aware, we had a significant weather event last week leading into our 4th of July weekend. That storm storm knocked out power to JCP&L customers in the numbers of 325,000 customers in our area. Roxbury had about 8,000 of those outages, which is about 2% of JCP&L's total outages. A lot of people mobilized to get Roxbury up and running as fast and as safely as possible. So I just wanted to put a few thank yous out. First responders, our volunteer fire and EMS, they answered 80 calls in the first day and a half after that storm, which is simply amazing for our volunteers. Our police department protecting everybody, making sure everybody stayed safe, roadway safety, property safety, so thank you. Our DPW for everything that they did, clearing the properties, clearing sidewalks, streets, the extra brush and branch work that is happening in town. Thank you very much. Social services for reaching out. We had residents in town that their homes were deemed uninhabitable. Social services reached out to those families and offered assistance. I also want to thank JCP&L for their response in Roxbury Township. I know it's never fast enough to restore our power, but they did a good job for us here in Roxbury Township. And then I want to, last but not least, the residents. Your patience and understanding. It was a difficult situation for all of us. It took a lot of time, a lot of coordination to get this fixed as quickly and as safely as possible. And I just wanted to report that we had 0 injuries reported during that storm, which is amazing. You know, it's a godsend. We had very minimal minor injuries reported for cleanup. Mostly people, you know, as they were cleaning up, hurt themselves. And that's the goal, right? Safety is always the goal, and making sure everybody stays safe and protected is the goal here. Another quick thing, we had Valley Pharmacy had their grand opening this past week. 71 years here in town. There's some things I need to look into, but they might be eligible for Economic Development Committee Award. So we might be recognizing them for that. It just depends if it's 25 or 50 years. And then this past weekend, the Lake Apacon Foundation organized a boat parade on Lake Apacon that had the Mislata, the floating classroom, and over 100 other patriotic decorated boats going around Lake Apacon for 2 hours. It was quite the scene to see. So great job. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. You touched on a lot of things. I too want to thank everyone involved, the residents, the first responders, police, fire, EMS. It was just amazing how everybody came together to go ahead and solve problems. I also want to tell you that the mayor and I were on phone calls every night with JCP&L and other mayors going through the process, how many people are coming. We listened to other towns that had more difficulties than us in trying to get people in and to get things repaired. I think Roxbury, although it was devastating, fared well, and God, no one was hurt. Attended last night the Lake Commission meeting. Again, water looks good, taking a lot of weeds out. There'll be Thursday a conference call that the mayor and myself will be on for the Lake Alliance. This is where we've been pushing for the last 5-6 years to try to get some kind of reservation system at State Park. One of our problems is State Park fills up 7:38, Chief, and then we have a couple officers up there trying to turn the traffic around. If everybody shows up and they won't allow any more in than what the amount of lifeguards that they have. Unfortunately, they also allow the lifeguards to take vacations. Not sure what that means. There's summer help. But we'll be talking again to the state and DEP, trying to figure out how we can get a reservation system. One other thing that came to light too that I was unaware of is in the state parks, they're all closed to swimming on Monday and Tuesdays in the state, other than Long Beach Island, which somewhere down the road, I think we need to go solve that, especially when we have hot days and things like that here. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Riley?
Touched on just about everything, especially with this little comment, but I would also like to take the moment to offer my thanks to the police and fire and EMS for all the calls that they responded to. This was hectic out there. I happened to be out when it hit and watch it come through.
Councilman DiFilippo?
Thank you, Mayor. I agree. Roxbury fared as well as it could during the storm, but, I cannot let it pass without reminding everybody that the infrastructure, the JCP&L infrastructure in our community continues to need serious upgrade. And the fact that we live in a community that has a lot of trees is not a good excuse for why we have to lose power all the time. So, Steve, if we can just, when the dust is settled, maybe talk a little bit about what's going to happen with the tree pruning program this year, and perhaps get a better handle on how they're going to upgrade some of the infrastructure. I'm just clear I understood the voting question was, but it does give me an opportunity to say that in the decade-long time I've been involved in Roxbury elections, Amy Reed has run the tightest ship I've ever seen in my life. So we've never had a complaint, never ever had anybody question our voting. So it gives me an opportunity to say, well done, Amy. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Carey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just that the Board of Education had their meeting last night, and the biggest takeaway again is from the storm, they had close to $200,000 worth of damage to property and grounds. And the good part is that it looks like insurance will be covering the majority of it. And to echo everyone else's sentiments to our police, fire, and first responders and public works for all their hard work during the storm.
Thank you. Councilwoman Albright?
Thank you. Also, I want to extend my thanks and sincere appreciation to everybody that was involved in the storm cleanup, our police, our fire, EMS, our public works. I know Paul has worked really hard to get every road open again, so thank you for that. On the 4th of July, I took part in a reading of the Declaration of Independence at the gazebo in front of our historic library on historic Main Street, and it was a lot of fun. And I think that the group is going to try to do this every 4th of July, have a reading of it. It was a lot of fun. And just really quickly, we have 2 fundraisers. One fundraiser is for the cheerleaders. It's at Fuddruckers this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we also have a fundraiser at Joe's Pizza for the Roxbury Arts Alliance on Thursday. Thank you, everybody, and stay cool.
Councilman Hall?
Just want to reiterate comments made by everybody else. We also had a number of homes that were actually directly hit during the storm, and some of them were not habitable at this particular point. So we had some really bad things happen within the township. Thank you to all involved that helped out. I spent a lot of time up on the mountain during this period of time. I continue to not understand why that area of the township always is the last to come back with power, but we'll talk about that some other time. On a positive note, we had our 15th annual Tri-Harder Triathlon, very successful. Big thanks to Cliff's Ice Cream and Joe's Pizzeria for all they do, our beach staff, Brett and Ryan, they just do a great job. We had tremendous success, lots of kids at the event, very well done. I also attended the grand opening of Valley Pharmacy last Friday with the mayor. Big congratulations to Sam Medali. Again, as the mayor mentioned, that facility has been in place for 70 years. I believe Sam is the 3rd owner of that, and he's been in there for almost 30 years, so congratulations for Sam. We continue to make improvements on our design and looking into changes needed for the requirements to meet the grant for Imagination Station. So we're making some progress in that particular area. Big congratulations to the police for their PBA 5K. They're helping out a lot of really good kids in need and really appreciate it. It's very well attended. Had the opportunity to participate in that with my wife. Really for a good cause, and we helped out several of our children within the town, so thank you very much for that. Had a meeting of recreation on July the 1st, reviewed fees. Camps are going very well for all of our kids. Had a meeting of the Environmental Commission. We should be receiving the forestry plan sometime this month to review that. And that should be it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam Clerk?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Just a reminder, the weather this week's gonna be very hot. Notice that was sent out earlier today that the cooling centers are open at the library and community center for those who may need it. Other than that, nothing else. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. Brings us to matters requested referred by council members, managers, attorney, and clerk. A, application for premise expansion permit through 6/30/27 IHT Mall Dunes. Any discussion on this? Yes, this whole, this continues them allowed to have it. All in favor? Aye. All right, and B, block party, King Road, Landing, Sunday, September 20th, 2026, rain date, Sunday, September 27th, 2026.
Second.
Also, any further discussion on that?
Do we, when somebody has a block party, do we give them some sort of list of things that are supposed to do? Sound down?
Not that I know of.
When we issue a block party, we tell people, yep, what we're allowed to do and not.
Well, they're required to follow our noise ordinance. This particular block party is 2 to 7. So there shouldn't be any ordinance. But I think it's a good idea. Most people are pretty good. I've been involved to not disrupt the neighborhood.
I'm not looking for extra work to do, but it seems to be a simple sheet that says these are the respects of your neighbor. How you can set up, don't sort of use fire, street.
You can take a look at the permit process. I'm not sure if it's included on there now, but I'll defer to Amy.
I'll send out a sample of what we respond to the requesters with after the approval, and if there's any kind of input that we can put on it, we can certainly do that. So I'll send
Somebody
it.
to show up and say, well, you didn't tell me,
I'll send you a sample.
Burned a tree in the middle of the street, ran out of the party parade. All in favor? Aye. You good? Introduction of proposed ordinances, there are none. Hearing and adoption of ordinances and seconding, there are none. Introduction and adoption of resolutions.
Mayor, if I may, I'll move 2026-179 to include 2026-180 through 2026-192.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Aldridge.
Yes.
Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes on all except for 188 and 191, the license zones.
And Mayor Patillo.
Yes. 12, personnel changes, there are none. 13, communications, July 3rd, 2026, July 10th, 2026. Any discussion? All right. Moving on, this brings us to our second public portion. Is anyone in the public wishes to be heard on any topic, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. For the record, please stick 3 minutes and 1 appearance.
Hi, Linda McMahon, Woods Edge, and I live in Succothana. This is just for Steve. There's still a very huge tree on Eland Avenue, on right past going towards Flanders, right past the garden, right past the community garden in their property, and the wires and the telephone poles are as tall, just as low as me. So, I have pictures that I just took today. I just wondered when that was gonna get taken care
We'll
of.
certainly take a look at it.
Great.
The guys in the room right here now,
Oh.
will certainly, we'll address it.
Great.
If it's something township related, if it's JCP&L or
Okay.
we need to do work with the lines or what have you, we'll get that communicated.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Collins, Andover Township. Good evening and thank you for listening. I'm here tonight because of the announcement this week that the converted warehouse federal detention center is back on. Many residents are deeply concerned about the prospect of increased ICE activity in our region and what it could mean for Roxbury. Over the past several weeks, we've seen reports of ICE enforcement actions in our area, and we've all heard about the shooting in Roxbury connected with an ICE operation and the murders of Alex Pretty, Renee Good, and others who are not even targets of ICE operations. These events have left many people in our communities frightened and questioning whether federal immigration enforcement is going to operate safely, transparently, and with accountability here in Roxbury. I have told you before, and I will say it again, do not trust ICE. Like any government agency exercising significant power, it should be subject to scrutiny and oversight. When people believe an agency is willing to mislead the public or exceed its authority, confidence is lost. Rebuilding that trust is extremely difficult and is going to take years to accomplish. The implications for Roxbury and our region of ICE's plans to convert a warehouse into a detention facility capable of housing up to 1,500 detainees in a place where it is impossible to install the proper perimeter security to ensure our community's safety are enormous. Such a facility could affect public resources, emergency services, transportation, and the character of surrounding communities, and negatively impact home values here in Roxbury. Residents deserve complete transparency and consideration before any project of that magnitude moves forward. I'm asking this council to do everything within its lawful authority to protect our residents and demand transparency, ask hard questions, keep the public informed, work with the county, state, and federal officials to ensure that any actions affecting this community are conducted lawfully, openly, and with respect to the rights and dignity of every person. And when local officials cannot control federal policy, they can stand up for their residents. They can insist on accountability. They can advocate for openness instead of secrecy and cooperation instead of fear. This community has always valued public safety, civil liberties, and honest government. Those principles should guide every decision you make and we make. I urge you to be proactive, to listen to the concerns of your constituents, and to use every lawful tool available to protect the interests of the people of Roxbury. Thank you for your time.
Suzanne Oliveri, 21 King Road Landing. Just let you know that's my neighborhood for the block party, and there will be nobody starting a bonfire or doing anything out of control. It's a very controlled neighborhood. I'm the most out of control person on this block. And you see me here week after week. So
much better
second thing about my previous comments, I was thinking about that, and I don't think that the conclusion of litigation is a valid time frame for a report on how taxes and services and revenue will is impacted within Roxbury. I'm asking for local information, nothing that has to do with the litigation. So I'm going to need another date, please.
There's nothing discussed right now. The budget's been completed.
It's not only budget. I'm also asking for services and your plan to recoup. I'm also asking for your plan to recoup the lost tax revenue that we will incur. Well, when will that be, so when I can plan to be here? A date would be nice.
I can't give you a date.
A date for a date. When can you give me a date? That's what we do at work.
I gave you the answer. I understand.
You said litigation, which was not an answer.
I understand what you're asking. I want to know too.
Okay, so let me know a date for a date. We can check in again next quarter. How's that? Because litigation is not a response. That's not valid. Okay? Here's something else that's not valid. On June 22nd, on June 29th, I requested via Oprah communication between DHS and the town of Roxbury. I was denied based on attorney-client privilege. I bring this to your attention not to call out Ms. Reed, who did a wonderful job in answering my request in a timely manner. I bring this discrepancy forward because I know that Senator Bucco reviews these Oprah requests. I have seen the line item charges on monthly invoices, and the reason for denial is not valid. I I'm not asking for communication between the town and their attorney. I'm asking for communication between the town and the agency of DHS that does not fall within attorney-client privilege. I have had a legal associate of mine review that, and they've also provided that that does not fall between client-attorney privilege. Therefore, I will be resubmitting my request, and I expect an answer. Thank you very much. This is also now a perfect opportunity to request again that the town council establish a community liaison who will fill a critical gap in town council to resident communication and promote transparency and collaboration. As I've stated many times at this podium and in my emails, we need a representative to meet with you to be able to understand what is going on, because we get half-assed answers. I have volunteered to fill this role, and I will be happy to do so. Thank you.
Good evening. David Foote, 30 Gordon Road, Lower Berkshire Valley. I have two things. First of all, I want to thank all of you for lifting up all of the public workers and JCP&L for their response to the storm. We were running off of the generator for about 3 days, but I was really, really impressed with the work that everybody did. So thank you for doing that. I have another comment. There's something I've noticed over the last couple months that I'm curious if you guys are tracking this, probably for the police. I've noticed when I've been driving around town, like I've seen a lot of cars with like heavily tinted windows that cannot possibly be legal. They don't have front license plates. Sometimes they don't have any license plates. They're driving erratically. I've seen this like way more than I have in prior years, other communities I've lived in. Is that something that you guys have noted and are tracking?
Chief, have you noted and tracked?
We have not noted anything like that or gotten any complaints, but if a citizen comes forward and says this is a concern that I have, that's something that I can put out to the patrol officers so they can specifically look for that and report back to it on me. So I could by the next town meeting for the next 2 weeks, I could have them take a look and I could get back to it.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And what should I do? Like if I see that, if I'm driving, I mean, should I like call that in or what?
If you believe that somebody is driving in a manner that is dangerous to the public, then yes, you can call that in and an officer working on the road can check it out. We don't know why that is.
Yeah.
Are they intoxicated? Are they not paying attention? We don't know until we make a stop.
Yeah.
But the question was, if I understood it, if you see tinted windows, are you going to call that in?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not just tinted windows. It's a pattern.
His answer is if he sees
Something that's
erratic
dangerous, erratic, tinted windows would not be something that you would call, and that would be something that you would report, saying that I think this is suspicious, and we can spend several weeks investigating a certain area, seeing if we're seeing what you're seeing, and do a report on it.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Hello, Olivia Jericho, Lower Berkshire Valley. Okay, so let me just start off by saying it's clear DHS is not going to play ball with you guys, right? They're not interested in maintaining an open line of communication whatsoever. And we can tell this based on, the filing they said that essentially said, oh, we're going to back off the warehouse. We're going to look to sell it. And now they're turning around and saying, oh, we've never expressed that. We would never, we're all gung-ho for the Roxbury warehouse. So, I mean, it's obvious they're lying, right? Because they don't have the town council support. And so here's what I'm trying to express here. As someone who lives within the town, it's hard because you're being lied to by DHS, right? Who is obviously gonna try to present this united front and never ever back down on anything, even when they are clearly and egregiously in the wrong. But that's just who you're dealing with, and by now you should know that, right? Here's the thing. So some of us understand that. A lot of us, are incredibly frustrated with the lack of response, and I get it. You have a lot of questions flying at you all the time. It's a lot, and you're dealing with these clowns too, right? It can't be easy. I saw the letter that you wrote, Mayor, inviting them once more to come to Roxbury, or suggesting that you send a small delegation to Washington, D.C., and of course, I think that's an amazing idea, and I think whether or not they respond, you should go. Because I do think at this point, it's clear they're not gonna work lawfully, and they're not gonna work predictably, and they're not gonna work safely within the Roxbury community. And the very manner in which this deal is happening should tell you there's a lot of haphazardness, there's a lot of miscommunication, and they just don't know what they're doing, guys. And so here's the other thing. I live here, the boyfriend lives here, we have a very nice little life here. After the 2 shootings that happened this past week, so you know, we have the father in Texas who was shot. He's been here for 35 years, shot by ICE. As he lay dying in the street, his last words were "Me están matando," which means they're killing me. And then we have the father who was also shot in Maine just recently, 26-year-old father and husband. And his last words were, "I tried to stop." So I guess my question is, who do you think in Roxbury is going to die first? And what do you think their last words are going to be? Because this is ICE MO now, right? We know this. Think of the shootings. There's been at least 10. Does this make 11 now? And then we know already that there's been the February 10th shooting in Roxbury, correct? And this isn't going to stop. Next time, it's going to be a Roxbury resident, and maybe they're the wrong skin color for you to care, in which case you're not fit to be in government, and I have nothing to say to you. I'm not, please. Listen, I know you men can get a little hysterical. Okay? This has nothing to do.
Okay? I'm telling you right now, you don't need to bring race into anything in this room.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Can we bring
Oh, wow. The Peanut Gallery has opinions tonight. Great. Listen, they're gonna kill people. I don't know how to get this through to you. And at this point, shut the fuck up!
Hey, this is where we can't allow that to happen, okay? Please, thank you very much. We're okay.
Jody Kegan, 90 Union Brick Road, Blairstown, New Jersey. I grew up in Hope, New Jersey, and we did not have the luxury of a police force to help out, you know, the mayor, to protect the mayor so much. Our mayor could, you know, handle it on his own. But let me continue. Has anyone on the dais here been to Delaney Hall? Anybody visited? You don't care? No. Oh, okay. Is there any reason you can't visit? Is there any reason they can't visit? I mean, I'm just not saying your turn. They, like, because we're in litigation. So it seems to be the issue. Okay. Okay. Oh, not a problem. Is there any consideration of you sending a delegation to visit? You know, I don't mean for like hours. I mean, you drive down, like 45 minutes from here. You stay for an hour. You don't have to bring a sign. You don't have to bring a flag. But you would get the feel. Or is anyone interested in going down as a private citizen? Because you still also have rights as a private citizen to visit. Or maybe any consideration doing it in the dead of night, so no one can see you doing it. It's also a little easier to park at night. Because as many times as I watched the detention center stuff going on in Minneapolis and other places, I didn't get it fully until my butt was there. And when you see 30 freaking ICE officers come out fully loaded, trying to get some cars in and out of that gate, you'll be feeling it. And the other thing that you might see, which I just saw this past weekend, that some of the GEO group, I should say just one, actually has obscured his license plates on his vehicle, both front and back, with painter's tape. And we have it on film, and that's not legal, right, to obscure your license plate? I thought maybe the police officer could tell me, but I don't know. I know members Albrecht and Hall, they talked about, you know, attending a 4th of July reading and a grand opening of a facility. And it just goes, and there was a reading on July 5th at Delaney Hall. So it just goes to show you, you know you can do it. You can attend things. You can show support. And that's all we're asking for. The governor has visited. Our U.S. state senator has visited. Why would it not make sense for you? Thank you.
One second. If anybody else wishes to be heard by council, please come onto the line now because I'm going to close public.
Bonnie Rosenthal, Randolph. First of all, the Valley Pharmacy, for anybody who does not know, they actually have, times for my time, hold on one second. They have surgical stuff. So like if you need masks for like nebulizers or oxygen and stuff, they have stuff and they're open in after what would be the place in Denville. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, JJ used to visit the facility like once a week. Is anybody going up there or no? It's just yes or no? Yes, thank you.
I've still been up there. Obviously, most township staff and elected officials stop in there on a regular basis. There's no change yet.
Okay, no, I'm just asking if you're paying attention to. Thank you. In memory of John Lewis, who said good trouble, necessary trouble. The anniversary is this coming weekend. Also, and this is not to create any issues, race always exists, regardless of the location. That's not anything towards you. That's race always exists with anything. And then the last thing is that while I know some people have spoken pro-ICE, including people in the audience, I just want to take a moment to recognize, I'm going to butcher their names unfortunately, but Johan Sebastian Duran Guerrero and Lorenzo Salgado Arrego. Regardless of what your beliefs are, people are human beings and do not deserve to die.
Good evening, Diana May, 30 Whisperway East, Ledgewood, here in town. As Bonnie just brought up, I also was going to question, so thank you for answering. As a Roxbury resident, concerned that somebody still has their eyes on the site, so thank you, gentlemen, for taking care of that. Ultimately, and I think everyone in this room understands that. I just feel compelled to say, ultimately, it is our and the town's responsibility to monitor the site, especially since we're seeing the lack of truthfulness and intent from the DHS's side. To that end, I previously expressed my concern as a Roxbury resident of ICE vehicles using Old Traveled Way. Chief Holland had informed us that he informed DHS that the residential street was not to be used by the ICE vehicles. I would recommend posting signs because I would imagine that the ICE officers and the people who will be utilizing the site now and hopefully not in the future may not be the same people consistently from one week to the next. So I would recommend posting signs on that street that is for residential use only at both ends of that street, going in and going out from the warehouse. Another Roxbury resident made the same suggestion and was directed to contact the town manager. They did contact both the outgoing and the incoming town manager, and to this date so far has not received a response. So that's something that we're hoping for to protect the residents. I know that there's already some unease in that area. There are houses for sale on that street that doesn't have all that many houses to begin with. So I just want to make sure that my fellow residents feel protected. To that end, I do recall that a large number of no parking signs went up very quickly along Riggs Avenue when alongside of Rooster's Coffee House. So I'm asking that the same speed be used for Old Traveled Way. Thank you.
Sierra Wilson, I'm in Bud Lake. I'm incredibly disappointed to hear that none of you have been to Delaney Hall. I go every weekend. Here's an open invite. You can come with me. It is pretty peaceful at present, so you don't have to worry about getting pepper gassed or anything like that. I myself have been pepper gassed. Not that big of a deal, I promise. They do need supplies such as water bottles for people visiting, because if you didn't know, at Delaney Hall, loved ones do have to wait outside for hours. We just had a heat wave this past week or so and are currently going through a heat wave now. The next few days are going to be in the 90s and near 100 degrees. These loved ones are standing outside in an aluminum looking tent, basically, for hours and hours at a time, just for the chance to see their loved ones. They only get to see their loved ones for 30 minutes a week, and that's if they're not denied. A lot of the times they are denied because if you're wearing a t-shirt, you can't get in. If you're wearing open-toed shoes, including Crocs, something like that, you can't get in. If you're wearing a hoodie or a sweatshirt, you can't get in. If you're wearing leggings, you can't get in. If you're wearing ripped jeans, you can't get in. I could go on, right? It's 100 degrees out, why can't you get in? Because you're wearing shorts. Anyway, extremely discouraged to know that you are not going to Delaney Hall because something like that is coming to Roxbury. Whether you like it or not, it is coming to Roxbury. Why is it coming to Roxbury? Why is DHS being so chaotic and going back and forth with their decision? It's because you people haven't fought hard enough. You can laugh all you want, it's true. We have given you so many pieces of advice on how to stop this. We brought lawsuits to you, we brought lawyers to you. I myself have brought up numerous ideas of what you can do to stop DHS, including preventing them from operating on your grounds, but you refuse to pass or even bring up ordinances. That is factual. These things work. We have seen it in other places. I can go on and on about this. But DHS is going to come here, and they're going to come here because you guys don't fight. So if you want to see what's going to happen to Roxbury, New Jersey, go to Delaney Hall, spend an hour there, like another person said, volunteer at Delaney Hall. They always need medics. They need people to help out. They need food for people that are waiting there for hours and hours at a time. You can see in the windows detainees that are waving in the windows when it's super dark outside. It will break your heart. I know you all have souls here, at least I hope that you do. It will break your heart. I could go on for another couple hours. I know I only have 3 minutes and it's probably down to 20 seconds at this point, but I do urge you to go to Delaney Hall, or at least to see what is happening and what is going to happen to your community, because this is serious. You know that the government is screwing you over. The only time that Roxbury makes international or even national news is when danger comes here, when the DHS facility comes here, when Fenimore comes here. Your government is screwing you over. You need to look inward and accept that this is happening because you guys are allowing it to happen.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Well said. You guys are gutless. That's why Fenimore went away.
Can't fight with a piece
Sir,
of paper.
sir.
I'm leaving.
Just let the person speak.
I'm leaving.
I appreciate it.
I can't listen to every bullshit.
Good evening, I'm Mary Paulson, I'm from Rockaway, New Jersey. So essentially, this is about race. And you guys are gonna have to get used to hearing that and stop laughing about it, because it's not funny. I don't wanna hear what you meant. You're snickering, you're laughing, you've got these smug smiles on your faces, it's unacceptable.
Do it.
Nobody in here that has anything to do with race and anything that you guys are talking about.
DHS.
How about First Amendment?
You know DHS has
That's
$2,000
everything
right
Guys,
there.
just, you had your opportunity to speak. Let's get through it, please. Thank you.
Okay, again, I want to reiterate that it is shameful with this coming to your town, and you can smirk as well, Mr. DiFilippo, that you have not visited Delaney Hall. I am there on Thursdays, come with me. I bring food for the families. Many of these kids don't eat during the week, and again, you're still smiling, Mr. DiFilippo. I'm not really sure what's funny or amusing about this. You're welcome to join and come in my car. I bring down hot foods for these families. I send it home with them if they want, or we serve it to them in the hospitality tent. I've seen hospitality tent be, I've seen people in the hospitality tent suffer because of the pepper spray, just because they're sweeping it. People, that tent has been hit 3 times with pepper spray. It's been cleaned out. This is a hot mess. This is what's coming here. This is what you are waiting for, and you should be anticipating. And you're not going down there and not looking at what you're facing is really shameful. Shame on all of you.
We have an executive session. Before we go into executive, Councilman Riley would like to make a comment.
Been a lot of attacks facts addressed towards this council, and I think this council, as a membership of 7 people, have stood together and acted firmly in our approach to dealing with this DHS facility. We passed a resolution. We're the ones that put together the court case. That was all information the state had, came from us.
Lie.
It's not a lie.
It is. You did not. AG did.
Guys, listen, they were quiet when you were talking.
They're
Please.
not. They're not quiet.
They're not quiet when we
Please,
were
hey.
talking.
They're only quiet when they want to be, when they don't want to answer a question.
The mayor made a very good statement last week that essentially said, while it's optimistic that you're gonna move forward without the Roxbury facility, let's not.
All you do is make statements.
Paraphrase it, but let's not get out ahead of it. Let's make sure this property's sold. And so they continue to move forward. They put it on their surplus list, then the governor did a dance in the anti-Trump dance in the end zone to celebrate her victory. Sure, there was no victory, and now the ICE facility's back on. We don't
So
know
you think a
what's great,
vindictable
but that's a
DHS
matter
is
of
okay?
fact. It's a matter of fact.
That's what a MAGA cultist would say.
You think they should punish us for celebrating that a concentration camp is not coming to our town?
I have to say. Now
You can try to stare me down. I don't care who you are or who your daddy is, okay?
I'm actually just trying to keep you.
Thank you, thank you.
Go ahead.
People are gonna die. Do you not realize this?
Amy, can you cover the 3 items for executive, please?
Guys, please.
Council of the Township of Roxbury and the County of Morris, New Jersey,
I know everybody's
authorizing conflict
upset.
of the Township Council of the public excluded, whereas it is deemed appropriate, the Township Council discuss the matters hereinafter mentioned without the presence of the public in accordance with the provisions of RS 10:4-12B, being Section B of the Open Public Meetings Act. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury, matters relating to attorney-client proposal, sale of property, liquor license, collective bargaining, contract negotiations, PBA local number 311, and litigation, fair share housing shall be discussed by the Township Council without the presence of the public. It is anticipated that these matters can be disclosed upon resolution.
All in favor? We're gonna go into the other room, have executive. We will not be taking any action in the other room.
That's not no surprise.
Never take any action.
That is not a surprise.
Take any action while you're here?
I do not have a time on how long we'll be.
That is not a surprise.
Any action.